To my pleasant surprise, ASUS has added another model of the ROG NUC to its line, basically with a CPU brand swap. Yep, the GR70 exchanges the Intel CPU we've seen in this gaming mini PC before for an AMD Ryzen processor, while the Nvidia 50 series laptop GPU is still present. ASUS pitches the ROG NUC GR70 as a gaming mini PC, and it's quite a jump in volume over regular NUC type minis, but still takes up little footprint thanks to its verticality. That's right, it's not made for horizontal positioning, if that's your preference. The whole unit is plastic with some RGB bling added to it and looks very similar to its Intel cousin. But this one comes with a Ryzen 9955HX3D, which is AMD's flagship mobile processor specifically focusing on CPU performance. There's also GR70 with the Ryzen 9955HX non-3D chip available and 8940HX. Very weak integrated Radeon 610M graphics is included on this chip, but it's only really useful for laptops to save on battery power. And since this is basically a desktop PC, you'll be using the discrete Nvidia RTX laptop graphics without switching between them. This GR70 review model comes with an 8GB RTX 5070, and the lowest end model features an RTX 5060. The Intel version had more GPU choices, but less CPU, so it kind of evens out. Inside the box is a 330 watt external power brick, power cable, and papers. I didn't see a bare bones option for the GR70 available. It looks like ASUS is only selling it as a pre-build, and pricing starts at $4,499 for the 16GB RAM, 2TB Gen 4 SSD model. That is not the configuration of the review unit, which we'll go over shortly. But first the ports, which are pretty much identical to the Intel version. The front has a power button, 3.5mm audio jack, USB-C 10GB data only, and dual USB 3 10GB. Inside is a MediaTek Wi-Fi 7 chip for wireless and Bluetooth. The back has 4 USB 3 10GB, Realtek 2.5GB LAN, USB 4 40GB, dual DisplayPort, dual HDMI, and the barrel jack power input. To open it, loosen the thumb screw, then push or pull on the cover towards the rear ports. I have to say this one was easier to open than the last one we looked at. Inside this GR70 is 64GB of DDR5 SODIMM 5600. There's a 2280 M.2 Gen 5 X4 slot, which is populated by a Gen 5 NVMe drive. It has good cooling, but the 2280 M.2 Gen 4 X4 slot has none. A thermal pad would have been nice. Windows 11 Home is included with the ROG GR70, and I'd remove the pre-installed McAfee software. Something I did use for the review is the included ASUS Armory crate, which allows you to set the power modes and also affects fan noise. Oh, and the RGB bling too. This time the software actually worked fine. On the Intel one, the power modes did not work properly. But if you don't want to use Windows, Ubuntu looks to be fine. No problems with wireless and Bluetooth. Okay, let's see how it performs against its Intel model. For most benchmarks, I only saw a difference in CPU scores for the default and silent mode. The top performance mode, known as Turbo, did not do better. Looks to be due to thermal throttling. Alright, in single core Cinebench, the Intel unit was a couple percent faster. In multi-core, the silent mode saw a drop in score, while the balanced and performance mode had the same result, which beat the Intel model. In Geekbench single core, the 9955HX3D comes out ahead as the top result. Multicore also places the 9955HX3D as the winner with both power modes. When it comes to short H.264 video encode, Intel still has the upper hand, able to finish a few percent faster. But the longer AV1 encoding test has the 9955HX3D as the fastest. Next up is the same test, but adding in GPU hardware encoding to speed things up. And in this case, that's using NVENC on the RTX 5070. The GR70 mini PC does a bit worse than the Intel variant, which had a 5070 Ti. For Geekbench AI CPU, we have the 9955HX3D at the top of the list. And for GPU, it's obviously not as powerful as the 5070 Ti, which in turn also lost out to the Radeon 8060S in single and half precision. Moving on to the graphics tests, and the GR70 does see a difference with each power mode this time around. It's only behind the 5070 Ti, which has an 18% better score in Firestrike, almost 20% in TimeSpy, and 22% in Steel Nomad Lite. This is a powerful mini PC for playing games, and I'm testing them using native rendering so you can see worst case scenarios. 1440p high detail in most games works pretty well. Doom the Dark Ages is very heavy on the GPU and can't hit 60 FPS at this setting. Either lower the quality or throw on DLSS for a better experience. I had to drop down Space Marine 2 to medium quality settings as it warned that the high setting needs more than 8GB of VRAM. Oh, thanks Nvidia. The GR70 is also a powerful emulation box. You can hook up an eGPU to the USB 4 port, but it seems kinda pointless with this gaming mini PC. Depending on the game and settings, the performance penalty for using the slower 40GB interface can be substantial. Alright, back to some benchmarks. There was a difference between the three modes in Linux while compiling code. The 9955HX3D is by far the fastest. The GR70 took the top spot in Adobe Photoshop, and fell behind the Intel model in Premiere Pro. The Gen 5 SSD included with this review unit is the fastest drive on this list, and its temperature held up fine when pushed. Bluetooth range is excellent, as is wireless tested at 12 meters or 39 feet from the router using the 5G band. Idle power draw is better than the Intel model. While maximum power draw is much lower with silent mode, the top two modes were almost identical in power draw. Not in CPU temp though, where the maximum went up as the power mode increased. It's not bad compared to the Intel model. GPU temp on the other hand went down the higher the power mode as the fan ramped up. Speaking of fan noise, it changes significantly depending on the power profile. I found silent to be decent at 41 dBA under load, which is not shown here for space reasons, though it's definitely not silent. Balanced is okay, and the highest performance mode was far too loud at over 50 dBA. Throw some headphones on if you plan to use it like that. Like the Intel variant, the GR70 comes in at 3 liters in volume, which is a sizable mini PC, but tiny compared to many desktop pre-builds. You can mash the F2 key on startup to get into the BIOS. On the main screen, there's a basic overview, and in the advanced tab, System Wake Events has Wake on LAN. There's also a basic overclocking option for the CPU. The Power tab allows you to restore the system on AC power loss. Cooling allows you to set the power and fan mode in the BIOS if you're not using Armoury Crate in Windows. Surprisingly, you can't turn off the RGB lighting in the BIOS. Anyway, that's that. It's now time for the checklist. The ASUS ROG GR70 is made of plastic, but the build quality is good. It's not cheap and only available as a pre-build. The power supply isn't a compact one. I found a 330 watt GAN power supply online and it's quite a bit smaller than this one. There's no VESA mounting, no powering via USB-C, but it does have a USB 4 port. No Oculink or dual LAN either. At least the GR70 was pretty easy to open, and it ticks all the other boxes. CPU cooling in the highest mode was unimpressive. I've given it a tick for the default profile out of the box. The main Gen 5 SSD has good cooling, but not for the second drive, so this is a half tick. Bluetooth and wireless work fine. Fan noise is passable for the wattage, as long as you use the default profile or below. The GR70 failed the audio latency test with LatencyMon, if you're planning to use it for audio production. ASUS provides BIOS updates and reasonable BIOS options. There's no exterior CMOS reset, but driver downloads are available if you need them, and the mini PC comes with a 3-year warranty, which is good. Overall, I like the GR70 better than the Intel version. The power modes actually seem to work, and fan noise is down overall. There's little competition in this space, so if you want a mini gaming PC instead of buying or building a larger but still compact ITX build, then you can find the ASUS ROG NUC GR70 links in my video description. Buy through there, help the channel out at no cost to you. And since you're still here, why not check out this video next? Cheers!